railed the life out of her because she was sweaty as fuck. You see that little sex worker crime on sex worker on sex worker crime.
Right. I've been well excited for this one.
Yeah, I was gonna say me too.
Usually I've got like a little list down in front of me down here.
Yeah.
I don't have a list for this.
Oh god. That memorable. All right.
So where are you right now?
Right now, I'm in New Jersey in the US, right by the beach, Seaside Heights. Originally, I came up because there's a frame up in Elizabeth in northern New Jersey that I was wanting to get for a panhead build back home, but it's sold by the time I got here, so just make a week of it.
So where did you come from to get there?
I was in Phoenix before here, in Arizona. There was a bike show in Bisbee called The Prowl. I go to that. Yeah. I went that last year and this year as well. Just had a little sporty shop that I took down there, but that's been giving me nightmares since I bought it. I wanted to ride it down to Mexico, but I don't think I'm going to do that now.
Will it not get you there?
It might. It's when I first picked it up from the guy who said, "Oh, it's ready to ride to wherever you're taking it to." He couldn't even get it started, and I was like, hang on, like, so I managed to get him down on price for that because I realized the only thing he'd done was he'd put a small battery in because he changed the battery,
right?
Because apparently he put the wrong battery in it. He put the wrong battery on the wrong charge or something. He put it on like a lithium ion charge, and it was like a regular battery. Right. So he put a new battery in, but it was too small of a battery to actually turn it over. So right. I noticed that's what it was. But I was just sort of like, oh well, if it's not running, then I'm not paying full price for it and stuff. So I managed to get down a little bit, which was all right.
Sick. But, so how? Right. I got so many questions.
Okay.
So take us through now, right? You're home and you're deciding where you want to go. Like, because anyone who doesn't follow your social media should, but they obviously won't know. Like, you pretty much you're a fucking nomad. Like, you just you're literally everywhere. Every week you're somewhere else, and so how does it fucking? How did it start?
I started traveling like full time when I was like 18. Right. I left school 16 after my GCSEs, went into an apprenticeship with BAE Systems, and I got with them basically so that I could travel because that's all I wanted to do was go see the world and stuff. But with them, the only places they could really send me was like Saudi Arabia, Falkland Islands, Cyprus. So it was all kind of limited, and also I was working like 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. plus the drive. So taking up so much time of my life that I was just sort of like kind of got bored of it really quick. So that's when I pushed tattooing. I was like, well, tattooing I can sort of like take anywhere, you know? Yeah. I'd always been drawing and stuff. I hadn't really thought like, oh, I always want to be a tattooer. It's not like it's what I wanted to do since I was a kid.
Same.
But just something that I thought I can take this with me anywhere. Just do like bold like black work and like traditional, so I know that, so I'm just going to do that and learn through like guest spots and stuff, like pick up more as I go along. So first guest spot I did was actually in LA. Went out to a buddy's shop out there, and then from there went up to Oregon, there over to Philadelphia, there down to Texas, and just sort of like hopped around as much as I could. And then it was the same with like Southeast Asia and stuff like that, just going as many places as I could through tattooing. Through a bunch of different reasons, I kind of like fallen out with tattooing, fallen out of love with it. As you know as well, like
100%.
Put up about like what the industry is and stuff.
I think that's like one of the biggest problems now. Is it is an industry now. Like it's not a craft anymore. Even if you want to be super nostalgic and it doesn't matter. It's the fucking ship has sailed.
Yeah, I mean that's part of the pull factor for a lot of tattooers though, is that if they're dead set on like I'm traditional with this, I like to keep to the traditions of tattooing. For a lot of people, that's the pull factor. It's like, I want to be a customer that gets these, you know, OG tattoos and stuff. Whereas a lot of people, but I guess that's sort of making a smaller market. Whereas there's a lot of people now that like, oh, like I want my first tattoo on my face.
Yeah.
And every tattooer that's just like, oh no, you can't do that because of this, they're just going to go down the street and get like a back alley shit one.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
The way that I saw it was kind of just like, fuck it, like I'd rather do it and have their money than
And do a good job, of course.
yeah. So yeah, I was just sort of like I fell out of love with it, so I kind of like stopped tattooing full time. And it was about 4 years ago I fell into, because I had like a decent social media presence, and I used to get like creepy messages from a bunch of people. I was like, might as well just delve into this OnlyFans thing and see what happens there. And it's 4 years on now.
I'll never forget. Like, so we'll come back. We'll come back to the question, like how you decide where you're going to go on that. But yeah, I remember I was following you, and I was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" Because you were like in different places all the time, and I was like, "Right, his tattoos are clean. They're nice. Okay, but he's not like a fucking tattoo. Like I was like." It's not like he's just like this mental famous tattoo artist that like is on the road fucking smashing them out everywhere he goes, because like, you know, you're not constantly posting work and that. So I was like, how the fuck is he doing this? Do you know what I mean? Nothing against your work as a tattooer. I was just like, what he posts work wise doesn't correlate with this fucking life that he has.
There's nothing, the tattoos that I do, a lot of them are just like Pinterest specials, you know, like
yeah.
They're not like there's nothing independent about them. There's nothing like unique about them at all. So I knew that I wouldn't ever like be like a traveling tattooer full time, because I didn't have that in the stuff that I draw.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I remember that's what I think that was the first time I reached out to you. And I was like, how the fuck do you do this? I said, I can't remember how I worded it, but I think you took it kind of like, I remember you replying kind of like, because why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't you fucking? And I was like, no. How the fuck are you doing it?
I'm sure there's a bunch of people that are gonna watch this that know like my history with like tattoo drama and shit. So like that's always my response is like, I don't know, like, because seeing that you're like a tattooer.
So you thought I was being a dick?
As soon as I get a message, I'm just like, oh, I'm not going to delve too deep into it, but I'm just going to be like kind of cocky with it, like, just because like there'll be a lot of tattooers that sort of like stalk my stuff, just see if like I'm doing bad or something. But you know, when I'm doing good, I'm just like sucks to suck, you know, like it. That's why I always respond sort of like that, like
yeah. So then I was like, nah, that's not what I mean. How are you doing this? I was like, I you must be doing like what you're doing. And you were like, oh yeah, I just make a bit of money online. And I was like like a fucking retard. I was like, oh yeah, sick. I've been wanting to do that as well. I love the idea of just being able to make money on my laptop somewhere. And you were like, no.
I was like, nah, sold my soul to all the gay guys.
Yeah.
It's pretty much what it is, though, dude. When I started out being like, oh man, like I've got like a decent following. There's like creepy people messaging me and stuff. Like if I just like put these photos up on a free page for like $5 per photo, and then have a subscription page that's like $20 a month, I could just make some money on the side. I didn't expect it to blow up into what it did blow up as. And I thought like I didn't even consider the fact that I'd have like a big like gay market. So I was always thinking like, yes, I'm just gonna get some fucking puss out of this.
Yeah, that's never gonna happen though. Because I was talking about you today to my wife, because I'm always like, there's a market for everything. Like when it comes to OnlyFans, and I was like, I don't want to work anymore. So if you could do OnlyFans, that'd be great, you know. And I was like talking about you, and I was saying like, because you're actually you're straight, aren't you? Yeah.
So I mean, well, yeah, I am. I'll get pissed and like neck off with my mates, but that's about my hard boundary.
Yeah, but that's different to like.
Yeah, that's not like
getting the lube out
in a big old schlong.
Like, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
but yeah, no, but I just
And I was telling the story that you said about you, and you were like, just gay bait. Yeah, and I was like, what the fuck is that?
Yes, sometimes I've got to be careful with what I say if this falls upon the wrong ears. But basically with like TikTok and stuff like that, I created this trend called the bro code trend, and I would just say like super suspicious stuff that was like, I'd say like, oh, if we're bros and we're swimming together, you need to like use my dick as a snorkel. and like just dumb shit like that. That straight people would be like, oh yeah, like that's funny, and then girls would be like, oh, like you're joking. And then gay guys would be like, oh my god, this kid's in the closet, and then they
Yeah.
shit like, and that shit worked out so good for like a whole year, and now I'm still like kind of like that trend doesn't really take off anymore when I try it, but I'm still like kind of living off the remnants of.
So I won't interrupt you now. So walk us through that. So you're getting all the creepy guys messaging you,
Yeah.
and you thought,
yeah, no, I was just like, fuck it, man. Well, it started like the first few messages were just like people being like, oh, like, do you sell like photos of your armpits, or like, are your nipples tattooed, or like, is your dick tattooed and stuff? And I was like, yeah, sure, like, send me a tenner, I'll send you a photo. And then I sort of put two and two together. I was like, if people are willing to message this from Instagram, I wonder how many people are too nervous to ask, or how many people would rather like stay anonymous. And that was around the time that OnlyFans was like getting big. And I was just like, may as well try it. Like the worst that could happen is that like no one subscribes to it, and then so what? Just take it down. Right? So I just did that, and it just first year was kind of like it was a livable salary, but it wasn't like oh, I really need to put loads of effort into this and try and milk it for all it's worth. And then
literally,
when COVID started, that's when I think people were just at home horny and shit. So I was just like milking it as much as I could.
But that's what I was saying to my wife today. Like, you've tapped into the right market, because I said to Liam, I was like, who do you fancy? Who's the fucking number one celebrity that you whatever? And she was like, Paul Rudd. And I was like, right. So Paul Rudd now announces, I have OnlyFans. I was like, you're going to pay the 30 quid for the month, like for the first month, just to see his dick. But women aren't going to like.
Yeah.
But I was like, but I've spent rent money on disgusting sexual toys for you, like, because men are disgusting. And I was like, he's a fucking genius. Like,
yeah, it's that just comes down to like the masculine and feminine divide, though, doesn't it? It's like
totally,
it feels wrong for a feminine to be in their masculine paying for something when men are supposed to be like the provider kind of thing. That's just that. But now, like, to be fair, recently I've been kind of pushing into different markets. Like, I've been posting photos, dude, of me like with like strippers like stepping on my face and shit, like me like sucking on their heels and shit, like. And it does well, like, honestly.
Really?
There's been times people have asked me to like come on the soles of my feet, so I just get some like shampoo or some conditioner that looks like put it on my soles of my feet and take photos, just like dumb shit like that, like just little hacks. It's the same as like, so I tattooed. I couldn't get away with this for very long because OnlyFans changed a lot of their rules and stuff. But I used to buy gay content from creators on Twitter,
right?
Like exclusive gay content. So I'd buy like a bunch of photos of them like railing each other, right? And I'd say like I'm gonna
making love
this amount for them so that they don't sell them to anyone else.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Because I've got a tattoo on my knob, I would just Photoshop that tattoo onto their dick and then sell that as if it was me like nailing some dude.
I've just found the advert that we're gonna go on.
So yeah, I just do shit like that. Or same with like if I was filming with a girl that does OnlyFans, let's say they needed like a blowjob video or something, I'd just sort of jump into being like, okay, well I need to film like an anal video, and I'll do it as like a point of view, and then crop them out of it, and then I'd like screen record a gay porn, take the audio from that, and lay it over the video. So,
it's fucking genius.
What can we lose subscribers now? They think.
No, because like maybe one or two the fucking weirdos, but like we were saying about men, like if I was subscribing to your channel and then I saw this, I'd be like, yeah, as long as you don't stop doing that, that's it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, true.
So, because we're fucking gross.
Yeah. I don't know. It is what it is. I'm not gonna stop doing it.
So
I know there's a bunch of people that probably will watch this that have all been like, maybe had a discussion about it before and been like, oh yeah, I heard he's doing like gay porn now, and this will be quite eye-opening for him.
But so right, so I think the fucking point of it, like, the main like positive out of this though, it fucking provides an income
Yeah,
to fucking live this life where you literally just ride choppers all over the fucking world.
yeah. I mean, I only got my first chop 2 years ago. But this trip now marks 100,000 miles on Rigid's bikes, like hardtail bikes, in 2 years. So like
Fucking
I'm just
right.
trying to do as much as possible. Like I'm no builder or I don't really know. I don't know fucking this from that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Learn a little bit here and there. Obviously, been around like Lloyd and Jason last week in July Boys. Um, but I just I kind of pride myself on the fact that like I'll just ride as much as I do,
Yeah,
like
fucking right.
1,000 miles a year so far. So
Yeah, that's sick.
but yeah, I do get that imposter syndrome sometimes when you see people like building bikes that are like mint, riding, putting loads of miles on them. But
Yeah.
all I can do is just ride as much as possible.
Who gives a fuck, man? Just all that matters is getting out there and riding in it without
Yeah,
like I don't want to get all fucking weird and cliche, but
yeah, that's
who
what it's
gives a
about.
fuck? Yeah.
Yeah,
And
two wheels, two
I
wheels.
mean, there'll be loads of people I know that are like jealous as fuck. Do you know what I mean? Because you like just live the dream. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like, but I mean,
yeah,
they
no,
just need to stop wanking off on OnlyFans.
I,
Shut the fuck up.
yeah, I don't really, yeah, I don't ever take it for granted. Like, I understand why people would be jealous. Dude, I think that every day there's people that deserve to be doing what I'm doing based off of like their talent within like the bike community and stuff. Um, Whereas I think my talent is just business mind. I'm
Yeah.
just like, how can I make
I
as
didn't
much
know where
money?
you were going to go with that then.
Well, my talent is having a Photoshop meat sword.
uh, so I've seen you. Do you think this sports that you bought now? Do you think this is going to be another one that you leave on the side of the road free for
Oh,
some poor cunt? I mean, for some lucky cunt.
yeah, no. So, dude, the same thing has gone wrong with this as what went wrong with that one. And I'm pretty sure my ex is like hexed my bikes. It's too coincident. Uh, the other one, what went wrong with it was the he said that he'd put like a 1200 kit in it.
Right,
I don't think he did. I think he just made the carb like run rich as fuck. So the
right.
rear cylinder kept like just failing. Like it'd run off the front cylinder
Yeah,
and pop out at like 25 miles an hour, but every 200, 300 miles or so, the rear cylinder would fail. And I think because it had just been running that rich, there was just soot build up behind the rear exhaust valve. And
yeah.
eventually, when that blew through, it just blew the valve out. And so that's why I think they just kept losing compression in the back of there.
Right.
And that's pretty much what's happened with this one. On the way back from Bisbee, um, I noticed there was like on the transmission at the back, there was like a little puddle of oil, and I thought I had a head gasket leak. But it was dropping from the rear exhaust pipe, like the circuit clip there.
Yeah.
So I think it's the same thing, that a valve stuck open.
Right.
But it's in my buddy's garage at the moment. So he's ordered all new gaskets. Actually, the first thing that went wrong on that bike was I'll have to send a photo of it for you to
Yeah, yeah.
feature somewhere. The little retainer like disc type thing on the clutch was just sheared all the way around.
Shit.
And yeah, it was fucked. I nearly died. Oh, dude, I nearly died on that bike. I was coming off the freeway. The brakes failed. Like these brakes, it's got like the rod here and then like this little C clip that goes into the master cylinder.
Yeah.
The C clip dropped out, so this rod was just like missing the master cylinder. So I was just trying to brake going down gears between like filtering between traffic, coming up to a red light doing maybe like 60, and there's like these semi trucks going, and I tried to stop in time, but I knew I wasn't gonna, so I just had to time it and bombed it through the red through both semi trucks, like between them.
Fuck.
Proper eye opening moment that, and I was just like, right. Couldn't get the parts in time to change the brake, so I just zip tied it down, zip tied like the brake down, so it was always on a little bit. And I rode like 400 miles just with this zip tie brake.
Shit. That's the thing with fucking no, like one brake in it and like no
Yeah.
front brake, but
Yeah.
front brakes look shit. So
Yeah, true. It doesn't look like a chop, in my opinion.
nah, definitely.
It's not sketchy enough.
I do you know who picked up that chop? So
Oh,
the one that you
one
just left on the side of the road.
yeah. So end of last year, I left it in Jackson, Mississippi. well, just south of Jackson, Mississippi, outside of Cracker Barrel. Which, if you ever come to the US, you've got to try Cracker Barrel. Like country food, really good. Like
Sick.
they like fried steak, so it's just like imagine like a tenderloin steak, but like battered like you batter fish. So good.
Oh, mate.
They do shit like that. So I went there, kind of like lost my temper with it, took the plate off, and then just left it there. I messaged a bunch of people that I knew who had like buddies in Mississippi, but they said, oh, I'll let you know if they say anything.
No, well, it fuck still be there.
Yeah,
like even if they didn't take it, somebody's turned up and been like,
"That's been there every day."
This bike's, but yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
hilarious.
that bike pissed me off so much.
How much did you pay for it?
I think like 4,000. A swing arm sporty.
He just left it on the side of the road.
Yeah, I lost my temper. It was stupid. I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have at all. I should have just at least like. I should have got it like trailered down to like Baton Rouge or New Orleans or something and just sold it there. Like, but I don't know, threw a temper tantrum. It was just like fuck this, and then I Ubered down to New Orleans.
Fucking OnlyFans money, just leaving it everywhere.
Nah, it's not. Nah, it's yeah. No, that's the thing though. Is like OnlyFans isn't as good as it used to be. So like,
yeah, I've heard that.
So like the money that I was making from it a couple of years ago is like compared to now, it's just so different. But like I was just like, I felt the burn of like leaving it there. It's not like I was like, oh, it's fucking
Yeah.
It wasn't like that at all. I did feel the fucking burn of it. Like, but then I bought this sporty that he'd advertised as saying like, oh, it's AA3 with a 1250 conversion, and I was just like, should I just run this risk again? And then when you couldn't start, I was just like, you're fucking kidding. But yeah, it was a weird one.
You're living the dream though, man. It looks fun. Where were you at? You were you in Bali?
Yeah. So far this year, New Year's Eve, I was in Krakow in Poland.
Yeah.
And then from there, I flew back to London for one night because I had to transfer from there to South Korea, Seoul.
Right.
5 days in Seoul, just because it was actually like the cheapest flight to get into, Far East Asia. So it was the cheapest flight to get. So I was just like, something I wanted to put on my bucket list. Like I've seen that they build like nice bikes out there as well, so I'll just go and explore that a bit.
Yeah, man. So, some of them pictures you were sending me, like even just like bikes that we wouldn't put the money into, they're they make them sweet.
They're like 125.
Yeah.
Bali, especially, or all of Indonesia, especially, like they build some crazy stuff. I put an interview up that I did with a guy called Keduk Garage, CUX Garage, and he's like the only guy in Bali that builds like Harley chops and stuff. Like,
right.
His shop is crazy. It's just like 10 different rooms in each thing. It's just like 2 houses basically, and each house different things. Like they've got like all the bike storage in one, then they've got like a room for the frames and like making seats, and then they've got paint upstairs, and it's just him and like all of his friends just shops. They don't speak a word of English, so I had to translate the whole thing. But
how did you do that?
Pardon?
With your phone?
No, so I filmed everything on my phone, and obviously I just asked the questions, and then someone translated the question to him, then he answered it, and then my friend that was with me, I sent him the video, and he just translated everything.
So how long were you out there then? Sorry.
Oh, Bali. I was in Bali for like 2 weeks or something. Prior to that, I was in Thailand for 2 weeks, Malaysia for a couple of days, Vietnam for a couple of days, and then before that was South Korea. Before that was Poland.
What was South Korea like? Were you there for all?
Yeah, I was there for 5 days. Everything's open like 24 hours. They have like 24-hour pubs and stuff. Like I was still pretty jet lagged, obviously getting there. So I was waking up at like 3 a.m. every day. I'd fall asleep at like, I don't know, like 5 p.m. waking up at 3. And I'd go out and I'd be like, all right, I'll get some breakfast. And there's just all these like pubs that serve food, and I was just like getting like, I don't know, like ramen for breakfast. And I was fancy going to like walk around the city, see what's around. And there's bars that are open till like 10 a.m. Like, it's like 10 p.m. Awesome. So I was just walking around. I was just like, fuck it, let's just go to a bar. Start drinking early.
Some of the videos that you were posting when you were out that way, like whether it was Bali, wherever you were, I think I sent you a message because you like, didn't you drink like a whole bottle of vodka or something? And I was like, we've got an episode. Don't die.
That's my party trick. Somehow tequila doesn't affect me. So In Mexico, I've got 2 bars in Mexico. I've got one in Tulum. We're opening one in Puerto Escondido, which is part of the reason why I wanted to ride that bike down there. So what we do when I'm down there is like every night we'll get like a spare bottle of tequila. I'll lay on the bar and just pour it down my throat. And I always go for tequila like that's like golden tequila, like the not like the blanco. Because otherwise, if I just do like tequila blanco, people are just gonna be like, "Oh, it's just water. Like, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Nah, I'm gonna do the golden Don Julio, sort of like make sure that people like."
That would fucking kill me.
Yeah, that along with the beer tornadoes is part of the reason I had to have lipo last year.
Oh, mate, the best thing about you getting lipo was the comments. Oh, yeah. Hilarious.
I was like, right, I can't keep doing all this porn shit if I'm just gonna be like a beer full mess. I was like, fuck it, just get it sucked out of me. I can't be arsed working out.
So did you say you've got bars down in Mexico? Is that what you said?
Yeah, so there were the one in Tulum was already open. Yeah. Well, it's more of like a partner situation. Cool. There was 3 owners. One of them took a buyout, so it's kind of like a stepping in situation. Cool. But yeah, the one in Tulum is called Straw Hat, and then we're opening one in Oaxaca in Puerto Escondido. It's going to be called Straw Hat as well.
Sick.
But yeah, it's bonkers. I think I've sent you some of the videos of what goes on there. Yeah, every night's just insane. People just sort of like get way too comfortable, way too quick, get naked way too quick. Like, I think as soon as I start chugging a whole bottle of vodka, people are just like, "Oh, it's that sort of place." And then,
so, I mean, how does that come about? Like, how hard is it to just own a bar out there? Like,
so Oscar is Mexican. He's like the main owner, really, like the 51%, like the majority shareholder, because he owns like the land, the lease, all that stuff. Whereas the idea came from like Pedro and stuff, like back when they was traveling around like Thailand and South Asia. It was him and his best friend from Brazil that that it was their idea, like their dream to open like a hostel, basically. And so they opened a hostel, but the bar was like the main success of it, just because it was always bonkers. So yeah, it's really, I don't really have anything to do with it. It was mainly just like an investment type thing. Cool. And 2021, I was just like living there for like 6 or 7 months. And so I just kind of like hop on back when I can.
Do you ever get shit when you're traveling over? Because I do every time.
Well, into Mexico?
I mean, no, sorry. To the States, I get fucking. They always interrogate me and
every time. So the day before the travel ban in COVID, they actually charged me $10,000 and put me on the next flight home, which was 29 hours after I arrived. But I was in a detention center. So this was before I even had like my bike license. But they went through everything that they could. They tried saying that like I had some sort of like gang affiliation. I was just like, no, I don't. They took me into a back room, like cut all my backpack apart at like the seams and shit to try and like get in there. Got like not 1 but 2 fingers up the ass, which I was like, people have to pay for that. So
I sell this. I sell this online.
This, like, do a scene just been like
send me your PayPal, I'll send you a cut. Yeah.
TSA. Homeland Security fucked me. And then there was just like, "Oh, we're detaining you on like suspicion of like." First, it was like on suspicion of like muling drugs, and I was just like, "Well, I don't. You've just searched me. And I don't have shit." Like, I kept hearing them because I was sat in there for like 29 hours. Wasn't allowed my phone. Wasn't allowed any electronics. Like, they'd bring water through every now and again. And, like McDonald's and shit, just so that there was like not breaking your civil rights. I looked because I couldn't look up any of my like what was allowed and what wasn't allowed. Turns out they're not allowed to keep you for more than 30 hours.
Right. Okay.
So if I'd waited literally 1 more hour, they would have like either put me on the next flight home or let me in for free. But instead, I was shitting myself. They told me that like they was fining me 10,000, and after 29 hours, I was like, I'm done with this, and I ended up paying it. Paying it. Yeah. However, joined the Mile High Club on that flight home. So pros and cons. Kind of worth the 10K.
Is it on your OnlyFans or?
It's not. No, it was an air hostess.
That's hilarious. Really? That's hilarious. Go on. Tell the story.
They put me on the aircraft in like
And you
handcuffs, right?
have to tell everyone her name and address as well.
I have no idea. I don't know. Blondie that works for British Airways. No, dude, I like they put me onto the aircraft in like in handcuffs, and
She was just frothing straight away.
I had a whole row to myself, right? And I sat right at the back, and they put like my phone and all my electronics into like an envelope with some paperwork that they'd filled out, and they'd said to the air crew or whatever, you know, like once you're out of American airspace, he can have like his phone back and whatnot, and they can like undo the handcuffs and stuff. So I sat there for maybe like an hour, and they'd start serving like dinner straight away. So they were coming up and down. It was like, oh, do you want like chicken pasta? Oh no, do you want like veggie pasta or like chicken and mash? And I was just sort of like taking a moment, just hesitate. I was like, and then she was like, oh, I'll just get you both. And I'm like, sound like cheers. Like, just grabbed both of them, and it was an overnight flight. So I fell asleep, had a whole row to myself. I fell asleep, and somewhere in the middle of the night, I get like a tap on my toe, and I was just like, "Oh shit!" Like someone's trying to get past with a trolley. And after that, she was like, "Can I have a word?" She's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Fucking hell, I'm in more trouble." Because I was on the back row, so it takes me through to where the toilet is. Get pushed into the toilet, mate. I felt like I was in music video for Toxic.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, man,
that's hilarious.
Well worth the 10K.
That's hilarious. I didn't get fined, and I didn't have sex with an air stewardess, but you know, like you're saying, like you shit yourself.
Yeah.
Like, because it's not like, the thing is, even if you have a strict no comment kind of rule, you know, when you speak to the police or whatever, the police there in airports, they are not the same.
Yeah.
You can't no comment anything. Like they'll just fuck you up and send you home. And
they're very much like guilty until proven innocent, the way they treat you.
Yeah, definitely. And I kind of was doing something wrong, but I was going somewhere in America to guest spot, and yeah, man, they knew I didn't take anything with me. You know, I'd posted it all over. I thought everything was kind of sound.
Yeah.
I got there, and this is actually my first time going to America. And you know, when you get to the fucking the stand, and they ask you what do you do, why are you here, what do you do, you know, and I was like, just say you're a fucking barber, you know, like at least, you know, who's going to be coming to America to do a fucking guest spot barbering? So I was like, yeah, I'm a barber, and she just went, mm-hmm.
No, really?
And put my shit in this envelope. But she'd given all the other guys green envelopes, and she gave me a red envelope, and I was like, is this all right? She was like, just go over there. I was like, oh,
wait for the room.
Yeah, totally. So I was like, right, okay. So I walked over there. The guy grilled me for like 2 hours. I had like a 6-hour wait for my connecting flight. And he just as he was like about to break me, he'd like left the room, and I was like, fuck it, just get sent home. I was like, they're cool in the shop I'm going to. They won't mind. They'll understand. I was like, so he comes back in, I'm just going to tell him, like, you got me. I'm coming here to work. Sorry, I'll go home. I'm glad I didn't now, because I didn't know you got fucking fined 10 grand. Anyway, as soon as he walked in, I went, right. And he went, don't you fucking insult me by speaking. And I was like, oh, okay. And he went, I know why you're here. I know what you're planning on doing, but I can't fucking prove it. Literally word for word. And he goes, I don't give a fuck how much money you make. He said, it's not about the taxes, it's not about making money here. He was like, what it's about is you need to fucking leave. So if you don't leave on Monday, the blah, 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 he's like, we will fucking find you, and we will hold you in a, what you saying then? Yeah.
ICE detention center.
Yeah, and he was like, and we can hold you there as long as we want and all this shit. And I was like, should I still tell him, or should I? And he goes, now fuck off. And I was like, okay, bye. And he went up to his mate on the fucking desk over there, and he went, you know when someone's lying to you and you can fucking tell they're lying, but you can't prove it? And his mate went, yep. And he went, that's fucking happening now. I was like, shit, these guys are fucking crazy. But
they're very power trip orientated, I think.
Yeah, totally.
Like they were bullied in school, so they've sort of
man,
taken the only job that they could. It's same as most cops, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. I was literally about to grass myself, and he was just like, "Fuck, you've
It,
beat me.
I was
Get
like,
in there."
it was the day before the travel ban, and I kept hearing them talk behind the counter about like slam dunk cases, and I was like, they're just
Right.
trying to get as much money out of people as they can because they know that they're going to be lacking on tourism. That was my
Yeah, of
suspicion.
course. Yeah.
But yeah, there's been times that I like, well, this time I brought my tattoo stuff because I was going to tattoo in Mexico, and they went through my bag and stuff. Because every time I go through now, they always take me to one side.
Yeah.
I had to get like a different visa. I can't come on an Esther anymore. I've got to go on a B2 visa, which gives me
Right.
6 good. But I always get questioned. It just like they run my passport, it sets off a flag, and I've got to go and get questioned.
Shit.
Thankfully, like the last few times I've come through, it's just been like a 10-minute thing.
Yeah.
But this one, it was like you've not got a departing flight. When are you leaving? I said, oh, I'm taking my bike through the Mexican border and going down to the south of Mexico. How can you prove it? I was like, well, the guy who I'm buying the bike from is like picking me up now, so you can talk to him if you want. If you don't believe me. And then she goes through my bag and then like pulls out the tattoo equipment. And I'm just like, yeah, that's not for here. That's for Mexico. She's like, I'm like,
Yeah. They're so sassy as well.
yeah,
But it is like it is my favorite place to visit though.
yeah.
You know?
I like Canada. I like Canada more,
Yeah.
but just the weather that's a downside. Arizona's great. Like you got like summertime, like you can ride through the night and it's like t-shirt weather, but in the day it's like scorching. But then in the winter it's like through the day it's just like t-shirt and a hoodie, like all year round.
Yeah.
It's just like perfect. What I do back home when it's out of riding season, I put a wetsuit on under all my clothes.
Right.
It's like one thing in the world, isn't it? So
Yeah.
like as soon as it gets below like 6 degrees, I throw a wetsuit on, then put my clothes over the top, and I can just ride around in t-shirt, hoodie, and a jacket, and it's like
You're rarely alone when you're out there traveling.
uh,
It seems like you've got someone to take photos of you riding.
sometimes.
Right.
That was most of the photos over the last couple of weeks have been from Bisbee, that show that we went down to there, and a lot of the photos weren't of me. There was just like I'll always ride with my camera on and just take photos of everyone else. That's something I'm wanting to kind of put into like a magazine,
That'd be cool.
or sort of like a poster pack kind of thing, because a lot of those photos I'm like stoked on. A lot of them came really good, but every now and again, like I'll just sort of like give my camera to like someone else that I'm riding with, or they'll just like pull their phone out and just get little videos and stuff. So yeah, no, that's why I prefer riding with others and stuff. But a lot of the time I am sort of like on my own, unless I'm out on bikes. Then I'll sort of like try and find like other local like chopper guys and stuff that just want to go for rides out and stuff.
Yeah. So how do you find them? Is it all just social media?
Yeah, usually social media, or there's a lot of like in Phoenix, for example, there's a lot of like mechanics out there that do only like Harley stuff, right? Or there's like shops that are specifically for choppers. Like in Phoenix, there's the Wheel Shop, which is a good one. We've got a few spares from there before. There's like Ramjet, they're very Harley specific. Black Cat Cycles, Connor, he's the guy that's going over my Sporty at the moment.
Right.
Sugar Shack Cycles, Sean, he's a guy that sort of like works out of garage on the side of his house and stuff. So there's a lot of people out there that are very specific in like maintaining and building chops. So through them, I usually find other people or like shows or stuff, or social media is the way though.
Yeah, cool. Because I mean, so I asked you at the start, but we didn't go into it. We went into the other stuff. So like, say you're at home now. How does it start? How does the plan start? Do you just see who's
every time I see like a show or something that's interesting. So it's either he's can't talk. Wait. Every time I see a show or a rodeo or some sort of like event that I'm interested in going to, I'll just sort of like mark it down in a diary.
Okay.
And I just sort of see what fits from where, and if two things overlap, then I just figure out which one I'm like prioritize.
Yeah.
For example, there's the Frontier Days in Cheyenne, which is all a rodeo, so a bunch of bull riding, saddle bronc, and
sick
stuff like that. I want to go to see that, but it's like the last week of July, so obviously I prioritize last week of July over a rodeo, you know. But prior to that, there's obviously the 101, and prior to that, there's Calgary Stampede. But Calgary Stampede doesn't like interfere with anything, so I always try and go to that.
Cool.
I mix them in where I can.
What is it about Canada you were saying that you love the more?
I don't know, dude. I think it was when I couldn't go to the US when I was waiting for my new visa. I was
Yeah.
going to Canada a lot because it was just like a nice, like kind of similar. But Toronto is one of my favorite places in the
Yeah.
world.
Right.
Because I've got a bunch of buddies that work in like bars there, and like there's always something to do. Also, like everyone in Toronto is so forward. So like if
Right.
you like, I don't know, like, you see like some hot chick across the bar, like there's no sort of like there's nowhere else in the world where you would be like, oh, okay, like I don't know how to explain it. Like you wouldn't have to put any of the work in. Like they will hit on you. Like
Right.
you know, what I
Okay.
mean, like
Sick.
so.
Yeah.
When I first went over there, like I enjoyed it for that factor. I was just like, this is just like a big fucking playground.
Yeah.
But other than that, like there's just so much to do there. Calgary's good. It's just like so Alberta, where Calgary is, that's like the Texas of Canada, basically. It was they all
Sick.
moved up there during the oil boom. So there's all like rodeos and Western shops and stuff out there.
Sick. And is it easier to get into Canada for people like us?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same sort of system. So instead of an ESTA, it's a ETA, which is electronic travel authorization.
Yeah.
I think you get 180 days with one of those, or 90 days. I'm not sure.
Right.
Same principle, but it's much easier to get into there than it is in the US.
I've known guys that are banned from America for different reasons, and they'll just fly into fucking Canada and then drive into America.
Yeah. It's kind of like that with Mexico as well. Like, so when we was in Bisbee, we went down to Naco, which is right on the border. So the town is like, there's the American side of Naco, and then there's the Mexican side.
Yeah.
And you just drive past the gate, and they're like, "Oh, you're going to Mexico, or you're going to, or you're staying in the US." You just like, "Oh yeah, we're going to." You don't even need your passport. Like they'll just sort of like write your name on a piece of paper, and as you come back in, like they'll be like, "Oh yeah, come back through," like whatever. So I do want to try
that shit
one way, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
So I also noticed that you've sent a couple of bikes back. Was it from trips out there?
Yeah.
Didn't you buy a panhead?
Yes, I bought 2 pans and a knuckle and a '73 Ford Ranchero. So the Ranchero I picked up in LA.
Because is that the one you just sold recently?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I bought it with the intention of sending it home, but filling the bed at the back with bikes or motors or parts, because then I wouldn't have to pay for the shipping of those, because I'm only paying for the shipping of the car.
Cool.
So I thought it'd be beneficial to do that way, and also make a bit of money off selling the car, which I didn't because the engine fucking blew up.
Yeah.
So
there's no one here. There probably are guys somewhere, but there's not like a big market for like American cars and like the mechanics and shit. Like I had a mate who had an F-150, and so he bought it over. He had 25 grand to put into it, and he could not find anyone to take his money. They just didn't want to touch it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a big V8 engine, and it just seized up 30 miles away from the shipping yard. We'd done like 2,500 miles on it from one coast to other coast, and then 30 miles out on the 4th of July as well, so we couldn't get a tow. Yeah, it was a nightmare. But yeah, so they picked up a panhead in Oregon as well. First year, 1948 panhead. I think it had original springers on it that had been extended, and a frame that was bent as fuck. Like that frame is the frame that Lloyd has like straightened up and put the fins on and is using for the knuckle now.
Right. Okay. Cool.
But originally it was a big sack of shit. Like,
but like the price you can buy them out there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And shift them here. It's fucking worth it, isn't it?
Yeah, I saw an ad the other day for this like all original '77 FLH shovel, and they put it up for like $6 grand US. So that's like $4.5 grand.
That's disgusting.
I send that up, like all original. Like that's easily like what 14 grand or something.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah, unreal the price differences and stuff. That's why everyone here has got like knuckles and pans.
Yeah, and there's like guys here that I've never seen a fucking knuckle in the flesh.
Have you not?
No, never.
You have to come to some of the shows this year and see see what Lloyd's putting together.
Yeah, man. So why do you want to build a bike that is going to be really shit to ride in the UK?
because to be fair, I don't think it will. To be fair, we've got some good roads where we're at.
Do you know many guys that where rigid forks have lasted?
The more I've looked into it, this is what Lloyd said as well. He said the more he looked into it, it's much preferable to have rigids than springers on bikes that long because it's going to be like 40
Right.
over.
Okay.
If you imagine like so springers like obviously moving like that way, when I apply logic to it, it's like you're only going to get that suspension if you're going into something head on. Whereas that moving that way, like you get a bit of flex out of the rigids.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
So in my head, having that curve on it like he's done, it should be comfier.
It looks
I don't know.
it looks fucking amazing.
I say that now, but my back's going to be killing me by the time I've done 2 minutes on it. But
fuck that. As long as it doesn't fucking snap on you on the fucking M6.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so the reason that I wanted to go for it really is it's funny because when you did the interview with or the podcast with Glenn, he said a similar thing is that he doesn't know like everything there is to know, and he's open about that. Like I'm completely open about that. I don't ever try and pretend.
Yeah, so am I. Yeah,
I'm not like. Whereas I would rather put money in the pockets of talented friends that do know what they're doing and stuff. Yeah, so the knuckles was something that Lloyd said he's always wanted to do a knuckle, and so he's got complete free reign. I just sort of said like, let's do like show bike, really long, skinny, and so everything that's going into it is his idea because he's going to do it right. Like I could come up with dumb ideas and stuff, and he's going to be like, that's not right. Like the proportion wrong, like the lines are wrong. Like we've been having like debates on like, oh, should it have a sissy bar or not? And he's just like, well, it just feels wrong to like bolt a sissy bar onto the back of it when everything else is molded. I was like, oh, how about like a Crazy Frank kind of style fender and then just go along with that? And he's just like, nah, it just won't look right. And we have those sort of like debates.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he's the one that like he knows what something else to look like. So he's got free reign. Really,
that's one of the things I really like about Lloyd is he will just say. I mean, he doesn't beat around the bush and fuck around.
Yeah,
which I think is really important when you're getting someone to build you a fucking bike. Because I'm not going to say any names, but yeah, I've had 2 really bad experiences, and with people that would just like I'd say these stupid ideas, and instead of being like, "Nah, that's fucking stupid," I'll do that.
Mm-hmm.
They'd just be like, "Yeah, man, yeah, cool," and then it's fucking shite. So that's what I really love about Lloyd.
Instead of applying like their expertise and be like, oh, that might not work because of this, and this, they're just like, oh, just do whatever they say. Like, as Lloyd said to me a few times, like, he's just like, don't do that, it's fucking stupid. I'm like, all right, sure.
Yeah.
And he's always been right. So
yeah, man, he's a wizard.
Yeah, but that's why. So that was the concept behind the knuckle. I was just like wanting to, like put money in the pockets of talented friends, basically, and like we entered it into People's Champ. Unfortunately, he didn't get in because of Bill Well said it's because of like been like overseas and stuff. Like there's been people that have got through and they're not been able to get it there. So we'd been back and forth with messages to him saying like, look, like come hell or high water, we'll get it over there.
Yeah.
If we gets through, and it didn't really seem to pay off. But it is what it is. Like it's for them to regret when they see how mint it's going to come out. So
no, it's going to be sick. It's fucking. I really love following the progress of it.
Yeah,
and so it's the knucklehead that's going in, isn't it?
Yeah, last year knucklehead 47 EL.
Sick. And you've got a panhead that's I'm not going to say the location, but down there as well with them, haven't you? I'm sure when I was down there, I was like, who's this panhead?
Yeah, that's the one that came out of the purple one. That's the first year, the 48. We're doing that one as like a 60 style club style, similar to Lloyd's Jenny.
Yeah.
Forward controls, probably like 10, 12-inch apes or something.
Sorry, but people will be watching this now going, I need to get on OnlyFans. What the fuck? That's all people are going to be.
The way I try and see the bikes though is that I see them as like investments. Like while I'm riding them and looking after them and stuff, like they're only going to like increase in value. Like let's say that knuckle, for example. I bought that from Matt South, the Australian guy. While he was still in Idaho, he put that one up for sale. I got that from him. The way I see it is what I paid for that. If I just look after it for the next 25 years, So we get to like 2047, right? So that bike's then 100 years old.
Yeah,
I can't imagine like what it'd be worth.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
A 100-year-old bike.
Yeah.
So the way I see it is that, like, yeah, I get to ride bikes, which I enjoy doing, but also like it's an investment. Like at some point they'll be worth more than they're worth now. So
Definitely.
may as well spend money on bikes that are going to turn a profit in the long run. But I don't. There's some of them I can't part with. Like my first shovel, never part with it. The knuckle, I don't think I'll part with.
How many bikes you got at the moment?
I think 8.
Yeah.
So my first was built by Lloyd, 77 shovel. We put in like 10 over springers in there, and I wanted it longer, but no rake, so I put 16 over wide glides in there, and now it's like super jacked up. Sounds really dry because the oil pump isn't strong enough to reach the front cylinder, so it's just down. So I've got to figure that out when we get home. After that, I got a Sporty from a guy in Leeds who previously bought it from Stan. Stan comes out on a lot of the last week of July trips.
Yeah,
I got that one from him. I had a Sportster that I loaned to my dad before he got a Fat Bob, like the 2022 Fat Bob. But I've obviously got that back off of him now. That's the one that we put bags on. It's kind of like a little Tourer type thing. Then obviously the panhead, the knuckle, and there's 2 panheads actually. There's 48 and a 49. But the 49 I've put up for sale because it's in a swing arm shovel frame. Looks the dog's bollocks basically. It just looks like the Terminator Fat Boy sort of.
Right, cool. Sick.
So I was going to raffle it, but I need to get it registered still. I've not gone through all the paperwork because I've not been home long enough. But yeah, that one's going up for sale, and then the other panhead's going to be the 60 style Club Chopper.
Sick.
I'm looking forward to those. But yeah, I think there's 8 of them, including the Sporty here as well.
Fucking amazing. Jealous in a good way.
I want to be able to do one of each. I was talking with Lloyd the other day. We're already looking at doing like a big twin build as well. Just that way, I've got one of each at some point. Like that's my main goal, is to go through every mower, a flathead at some point as well. You know, get through if I can. Jenny shovel at some point too, I hope. But again, it's as and when they come up.
Yeah, man. But you got plenty of time, and I mean, being over there all the time, you're always,
Yeah, true.
That's our problem here, isn't it?
Yeah, the shipping is ridiculous at the moment. I've been speaking to people about getting a frame done out here, and then shipping it back home. But looking at the cost of shipping a frame back home, you're looking at like 1,800 quid. I'm just like,
nope. Like you said, it's better to do, because I know a guy that brings bikes over, and he does it by the container load, and it's just it works out cheap, but it's a fucking lot of money because he's got to fill the container. But
Ford Ranchero over, I just put both bikes in the back and then the knuckle motor in between the bikes, and filled the rest up with parts. And there was like you obviously got to write up about the bike details and stuff, but you don't have to ship in them because they fit in the one thing that you're shipping. So it was 1,500 to ship the car because it was in a shared container.
That's well worth it, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And I just connected like all the oil lines, the battery and everything. And I got on the bill of sale. I got the people that I bought them from to write $500 is what I paid for them, because that way less than the taxable amount when I come through. And if they questioned it, I'd have just said, "Oh, like they're just ornamental value. They're not running. They're historic vehicles." Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to pay any income tax on them. Import tax.
Yeah.
It was just like the handling fees when we got there. Whereas if I shipped each bike individually, it'd be about 850 quid each bike.
Yeah, that's it. That's instantly not worth it.
Yeah, so it was worth throwing them in the back of the car.
Fucking right.
But looking at how 1,500 to ship the car, but it's 1,800 just to ship a frame by FedEx.
Yeah. So how long did it take? Like, how long did it take for the car to get you?
About 3 months.
See, that's another thing, innit?
2 or 3 months. Yeah, got there and it was like all moldy inside, just like green all of it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, makes sense.
But the guy I sold it to a guy pretty cheap because I just wanted to get rid of it. I didn't know anyone that could switch out the motor and stuff. But he's got it back up for sale at the moment. He's had a new block put in it. Everything's running sweet by the sounds of it. So yeah, he's put it up, turning a good profit on it. Still not actually as much as I paid for it originally.
Shit.
So it doesn't make a difference really, because I don't think I'd have made my money back on that
No.
as an investment.
But at least you got the others. At least, I mean, at least it made the fucking getting the bikes
Yeah.
over cheaper. So
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So,
yeah, I've not got a car in the UK at the moment, so I'm just looking at old, like you said, F-150s and stuff, because I
Yeah,
like having
sick.
like a historic.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just not interested in like anything new.
Mhm.
Yeah, like that's
All these electric cars and that.
yeah. I'm just.
They've got electric trucks out here.
I was about to say, you know, like fuck the battery running out and that, but then the other day I ran out of fuel at the traffic lights, half a mile from the petrol station. So
Yeah, I've been there a few times. I'm just like, oh, I've only put 20 miles on it since I filled it up. Like, I'm sure I can get 20 miles down the street. 2 miles later, I'm outside it. Like, don't run on air.
It's the fucking. It's like the one time I wasn't carrying my spare tank with me, and it's fucking stupid.
I used to have one of those. I used to have a little fuel friend thing, and one of the trips that we went on, I was second to back. Adam, Lloyd's brother, was behind me, and my fuel friend had fallen off, and he didn't realize. Oh, so they're bouncing down the street, and he's just like, oh, like, leans over, tries to kick it up to catch it, slams him in the shin, and he's just like, fuck that. Got it roundabout. He's just like, yeah, your fuel friend's gone. And I'm just like, oh, great. He's just like, yeah, fucking got a massive bruise on my shin. I'm trying to keep it up.
So how long have you known the Last Week of July boys, and you've been doing that with them?
I had a Honda 125 that it was. I'd messaged Glenn. It was Glenn that I'd messaged. I'd followed a bunch of like bike accounts and stuff because I'd liked the idea of having like a long bike. Didn't know difference between anything, but I liked the idea of having a long bike, and I just had this little Honda 125 bobber thing that I got my CBT done on, and I'd messaged Glenn because I'd seen his post before somewhere, and I thought, oh, he'll know like who I can talk to about like making it longer. Like, didn't think anything into like having it raked, or I just thought longer forks will make it a long bike or whatever. It's all I knew, and he just said, oh, I asked him about one place in near where I'm from, and he says, no, like don't go there. Get in touch with Lloyd, get in touch with Jace, and this is their thing last week in July and stuff. And he introduced me to him through there. So I'd started talking to Lloyd about what I wanted to do, and Lloyd had said, like, it's a 125, don't put money into it, just get your license, get a sporty chop if you want something reliable. And so it was just little bits of like education from there, basically. I'd even said when I first met Lloyd, I was like, do you mind if I just linger and watch what you get up to and stuff? I can I couldn't tell the difference between a knuckle, a pan, and a shovel, or jelly shovel, or cone shovel, or anything back then. It's again, that was like 2 years ago. That's another reason why I'm quite thankful for all the shit that goes wrong, because the more shit goes wrong, the more I learn what to look out for.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, so it was Glenn that introduced me to him. When I was in Mexico for 6 months. That's when Lloyd was working on that first shovel that I was getting, and that's when I'd heard the news about Glenn. So I'd never actually met him, but he'd introduced me to them, and I've said that a few times to him that I'm eternally thankful for that.
Yeah, man.
Because without him, I never would have met them.
Man.
So yeah, it's been like 2 years.
Right, sick.
Of knowing them. Might be a little bit longer now. 2.5 years, maybe. Yeah.
Cool. Are you doing the run this year?
Yes. Yeah. Last year there wasn't really one. It was just the 101 run instead. We did instead of the last week of July. But I think this year it's a northern run. I think we'll be headed up to like Newcastle way, maybe a bit of camping up there.
Yeah. So what's your plans now then? So you're in New Jersey now?
I'm in New Jersey until Saturday, and then I fly back to Phoenix. Hopefully get everything sorted out with that sporty. The plan was to go from Phoenix to El Paso to San Antonio, and then from San Antonio head down to the border and then ride through Mexico to Puerto Escondido, where we're opening the new bar. But I don't really trust this bike to like break down in desert and be like something that can't be fixed by me or by a local or
another
whatever.
Free bike.
Yeah, so I don't really want to do that a second time and just have to ditch a bike. So I think I'm going to keep it in Phoenix. fly down to Mexico, and then when I come back to the States for like Born Free this year and Virginia City Roundup,
Yeah.
Texas Fandango and Born Free Texas and stuff like that. I'm wanting to do all those, but I'll just fly to Phoenix, take the bike, and ride from there. And that way, if something does go wrong, at least I'm with like a group of lads that have like a trailer or a U-Haul or something. That's what we did on the way back from Bisbee. Just threw it in the back of a trailer. We had like 5 bikes, all just like bolted together.
What was that? I seen that you got a U-Haul like last week.
So that's this sporty chop. I picked it up from a guy in Chicago.
Right.
Freezing in Chicago, so I was like, I'm not going to ride it from there down to Phoenix. It's a good job I didn't as well, because of obviously everything that's sort of been playing up with it. But I just threw it in the back of a U-Haul, and then drove that to Phoenix on like a one-way trip. Wanted to do it in the back of a truck, which would have been cheaper, but they were saying that we can only pay through credit card, and I don't use credit cards, so so we had to get a U-Haul instead. But yeah, it was about a week-long trip, Chicago down to Phoenix.
Fuck.
It was good. It was good.
That's crazy.
It's like long days, but it's sort of easy to split up just by going from like interesting town to interesting town. Like from Chicago, we just flew through Iowa, Nebraska, and then got to Cheyenne, Wyoming, had like a day there, then down to Denver, Colorado Springs, Albuquerque, then across to Phoenix that way.
Fucking right. I'm jealous, man, in like the best way possible. Like, you're living the fucking dream. I keep entering like American raffles.
Yeah.
Like, if I've just got a bike out there, I just leave it out there.
That's what I like about like that Chopper Swapper page, is that like there's always people selling like the sporties.
Yeah.
In my experience, I trust Lloyd and Jace and those lads and the bikes that they build way more than a lot of the Yank builders, honestly. Like, in my experience of bikes so far. I mean, there's some that are like obviously unreal. You got like like Al Emerson and like
Chris, of course. I think the problem is it's like the sheer size of America. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's like what you said then is like saying like I prefer UK builders over European builders. Do you know what I mean? Like in like Spain, France, everyone, because that's how fucking big it is. So you are gonna get like more shit.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a lot of like big names, but then there's a lot of like people like
there's like 100 times more shit. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Where here it's like I don't know. Yeah, we're so fucking small, aren't we? Like that's another thing I want to talk to you about. So it's not only fans. You've got other businesses going on. You got like the Concrete Cowboy and
yes. So there's the vintage store.
Yeah. It is Concrete Cowboy, is it? Did I just make that up?
Yeah, Concrete Cowboy store.
I know that's your IG handle, but
it's in my bio on the Ugly North page. So is the bar in Mexico and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just I love like vintage shopping and stuff, like finding like older Harley t-shirts and stuff when I'm over here. So I bring like nothing over, buy shit over here, and then when I go back home, just like fill up a suitcase, take that back home, sell it on for a bit. Like it's a good reason to go to shows and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'll be vending that at the early hookup and the 101 run and stuff this year.
Sick.
So that's just more of just like a passion project. It makes a little bit of spending money, a bit of beer money and stuff, but yeah, it's more just like a bit of fun.
Yeah. So do you say you've got a booth at the hookup?
The early hookup.
Yeah.
The one in Birmingham with I think motorcycles. So
yeah, man. Yeah, we've got one there as well.
Oh, nice, sweet. Yeah, that's not far away now. It's only a month away or something.
Yeah. And what other shows are you doing in the UK? Or even just going to, not
this year will be early hookup, then Southwest Chopper Fest. We're gonna go down to that one with Sarah and Carlos Collier. They put that one together. I think last year was the first one, or the year before. I'm not sure, but I've not made it down yet. So I'll probably ride down with Jack Cranston on the way down. I don't know who else is going, but I know he always rips down there. So where else is there? The 101, the hookup.
I have a run every year that I have to do, and it is always the same date as the 101.
Oh, really?
Yep, every year, every fucking year. It's fucking a pain in the ass. So I
That's what I
really
mean
want to go
about
and do
like,
it. It looks great.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I mean about like um having like the things that collide, and you've got to be like, oh, which one do I want to do like this
yeah,
year? So it gets frustrating, but obviously you have more like obligation to have to do
yeah,
certain
yeah,
runs.
yeah. In fact, have you got anything else you want to say?
Top tip for Thailand: don't ever take your backpack into a room with a hooker, because they'll go through it. They'll go through your backpack, try and find your passport, your wallet, your keys, whatever they can take, and like bribe money from you. So I'd been warned about that, and this was like my second time in Thailand. I was like 19, and I was like, fuck it. While in Thailand, may as well go to like a go-go bar, pay 70 quid, and take one home and like see what happens.
Yeah, lad.
And as soon as we walked into the room, she's like, okay, like you get a shower. I'll wait for you through here. Like, okay, it's like kind of like a studio room, right? There's like an open archway to where the shower is. And I took my phone, my wallet, my keys, passport, everything out of my bag and
Yeah.
put them in my shoes by the shower. That way I knew that she weren't going to like go through them or anything. And I see through the crack in the curtain that she's going through my backpack. You know, she's like
Cheeky
looking
bitch.
at all through all my socks and pockets and stuff. Yeah, just like going through it, and I was just sort of like, I'm not going to say anything. There's nothing in there.
Yeah,
So I get
yeah.
out of the shower, didn't say a word. Railed the life out of her because she was sweaty as fuck. She has to go back to work, right? So she's just, oh, okay, I'm going to go get a shower. And I was like, all right, yeah, sure, no worries. Realized that she's left her handbag the other side of the wall on the bedside table, completely out of sight. And I'm just like, oh, it's a karma moment. Like, I took out like 750 quid and left. But I've never, I've been back to that place a couple of times since I've been to Thailand again, and I've never seen her in there again. So either
That's
she's been like
hilarious.
shot by a pimp or something.
Yeah. But really, if you really think about it, it was really just one hooker robbing another.
Yeah. little sex worker crime on sex worker on sex worker crime.
Oh, that's
hell.
fucking amazing.
This is why we get a bad rep. Imagine she called the police.
You're not
Called
just
the police.
stealing off
Like, I've
others,
been
you're
robbed.
stealing off each
Why?
other.
There's got to be. I guarantee there'll be a comment on it somewhere where someone's just like, "Oh, so he admits to robbing? Then I bet he robbed a Dan Cuban off her as well." That one.
Oh yeah, I've heard that story. Yeah, you fucking thief.
Yeah.
I think all I'd done
Yeah.
is
That's
I'd liked one of your posts. I think that's all I'd done. And somebody like jumped in my DMs and they were like, "Don't trust that guy." I was like, all right, I won't. Sounds
it was like
that.
It was like that when first hanging out with Lloyd and Jason stuff. Like they
Yeah.
posted like a photo of me tattooing them in garage and stuff. And it was just like a bunch of people that was just like, oh, he's this, he's that. And then so I said, like, all right, well, you know, like if that's the case, you know, like so be it. And you can say I told you so, but till he does me wrong, then
Yeah, totally.
you know, like what it is. But I think that's just cancel culture on
man.
the days that we live in.
I'm fucking I'm terrified of that shit, and I'm not even fucking. I'm terrified about getting fucking cancelled locally.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? One fucking rumor. It's fucking terrifying
it is
out
what
there.
it is. I take everything on internet with a pinch of salt, like, so I'm still trying to live my best life regardless of what the
definitely.
internet says.
Well, you fucking certainly are, mate. And I definitely want to get out there. I want to do something together. Not OnlyFans.
Yeah.
You know, just riding a bike. That'd be great. We could maybe hold hands and put that.
Oh, mate, I got a photo from other week of Brett and George. A couple guys were riding right in front of me, and they've got this thing where when they're side by side, they'll put their arms out and do make a little heart. And I got a photo of that, and I'm just like, oh man.
Do you know
like, that's gayer than my OnlyFans, that is.
Oh, but I was about to talk about something really serious then. The guy, the fucking Troy. From 21 Days Under the Sky. He did the same thing. He, you know, all the photos he would take like a lot of like on the move photos, wouldn't he? And they were fucking sick.
Yeah. That Todd Blue Bar's good for that.
Yeah.
That Blue Todd podcast, that's really good. Like some of their rolling shots, so like super shaky, but they just look the part.
Yeah, totally. Right, thank you so much for coming on, mate. I really appreciate it.
No worries.
Finally done it. We've been trying to do it for fucking months.
Rise, jumpers will die.